you want to, though, you can just leave a voicemail that Noah, I'm going to call him Noah Jones. I think Nora Jones. And hey, Noah, would you like Noah Jones if I called you that?
I'd be okay with Noah Jones.
That means you might be related to Nora.
Could be. I think I like Noah Johnson a little better. I think that has a better ring to it.
Okay,
Johnson, Johnson is kind of like a bland name, very popular. A lot of people have Johnson. So
I want to be part of the monolith.
Okay. You just tell me what you want, what name you want. We can switch up every day, because we don't want, we have some stalkers out there. We don't want people stalking you. You know what I mean? They already know what the studio is.
So true. I don't want them finding all my pictures.
You know what I mean? Because we know how that absolutely rolls. We say hello to some folks there that's already popping up on the YouTube machine. And of course, we do that every single day. We love the interaction. Our Christian has a way that he can talk to you during breaks. I don't know if I can. I couldn't even try to type in a message to say hello to you. So, Joy Williams, what's up? He said, what's up, guys? John Jones, who's down in Aiken, I believe, is the guy that the cigar shop down here in South Carolina that I met at another cigar shop, the Maduro Room. Good friend of mine, Mike, owns that. Him and his lovely wife, huge Alabama fans, and bought a big box of cigars from on our cigars to Tennessee week. So I know they might probably smoke those up. And Sam said, what's up, everybody? Good morning to the folks there at I'm Words. So appreciate you all diving in. What's the number for the show? 205-342-9904. That's what it is. You can call right there as well. It's Free Fall Friday. I don't have a whole lot of just stuff. We'll talk basketball if you're in the move. Alabama got another big one this weekend, so we can talk about that. We can talk more about the transfer portal with Michigan, and we haven't really got to it a whole lot with Jim Harbaugh taking the Los Angeles Chargers job. I think we'll talk a little bit more about that. What's the impact going to be? Will it be less impact than when Nick Saban retires? We'll get into some of that. I love to take a lot of questions today, whether it be from YouTube, Tide 100.9 app. I love to get in some of that so we can spend some time answering some of the, because we have a ton of questions. Never even get close to getting to. So I love to do some of that here on a Friday since we don't have a lot on the docket for today, but have some fun. I'm hoping Noah will just turn up the jams, the beats, give me something that I can dance to, get excited about. You know what I mean?
You're killing me with those because I can't. That goes for a copyright on YouTube. So every time you do that, I got to mute it over here. But it's all good. I'll navigate.
Well, it's called bumper music. We have to have that.
Okay, but actual songs get copyrighted. So that's what I'm talking about. You can have bumper music that's not copyrighted.
You need to talk to Noah.
No. I'm telling you though. So when you tell them to play popular songs, since you want to be a smart ass,
I didn't say popular songs. I said give me something that I like that I can get hyped up with. I don't care what the song is, as long as it's not Taylor Swift.
I'll pass. I'm tired of seeing her during the game.
Let me just say this.
She'd copyright.
I don't know how you feel.
Exactly.
I don't know how you guys feel. But I was doing radio in Charlotte the other day. I do it weekly, WFNZ. And we're talking NFL. We'll talk some NFL playoffs, huge games, NFC Championship, AFC Championship this weekend. And there's no way in the world. I love Patrick Mahomes. I love Travis Kelce. I love what the Kansas City Chiefs have done as a football organization. Andy Reid, no doubt Hall of Fame, one of the best coaches there is in football. And I love him. But I do not, let me say this very clearly. I absolutely do not want him to win, Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid, Travis Kelce, and the others. I could not stomach watching the Super Bowl with the Kansas City Chiefs playing. I am sick and I am tired of Taylor Swift. I ain't gonna lie to you. For the record, I've been to a Taylor Swift concert, and it kind of happened by accident. My mother-in-law was in town, and some people gave me the access to have the box. I had a box, guys, free, food, drinks, everything, hot food, cold food. I couldn't turn it. And it was Taylor Swift. And she was singing up on something that was just flying her across the Colonial Life Arena, like the whole time. And she wasn't good then, like she's not the best singer. But now that she has inundated herself with Travis Kelce I get tired of them showing the box. Now I'm tired of seeing the Kelsey brother in there pounding beers with his shirt off and Walmart sweatpants. I'm sick of it. I don't know how y'all feel about that. Boo! I don't want the Kansas City Chiefs. I am Lamar Jackson, Baltimore Ravens, John Harbaugh. I'm about the business for them on this weekend. So let me just throw that out there to get the show started. Real quick, John tells me it's Iron Horse Cigar Lounge in Aiken, South Carolina. So if you're down in the Carolinas, on right off I-20 in Aiken, of course, known for horses and horseback riding and all that beautiful thing, go see John over there. He's a good dude. Him and his wife, huge. I'm Christian. When I tell you huge Alabama fans, huge. They own a cigar shop in Aiken. I haven't been to it yet, but I met them several times. So go by and check them out. They'll be there. Let's see. They'll be at the 8-day game. He said Art Cigars on Friday, Saturday. So what's up, y'all? Let me just say what's up. Hi, good day, good lunchtime, whatever you want to say.
You're just all over the place. Taylor Swift, I will say that she did kind of have her own thing going before Travis Kelce. To be fair, you got to pay her respect. I mean, she's been selling records for years and has been at the top of the pop game, if you want to call it, for years. So I will say that. But on the flip side, though, when people try to say she put Travis Kelce on the map, that you're a fool if you say that. But I am sick and tired of seeing her every broadcast. I mean, somebody will make a play that's not even Travis Kelce, then they pan to her, and it's just so obnoxious. And then yeah, it's just gotten so old. But anyway, I don't know if you saw this, and I wanted to talk about this. Unfortunately, I can show the video on our YouTube stream, but radio you're not going to be able to see it. But there was actually a video that Coach Saban's daughter, Kristen, had posted. And it kind of gave us an early glimpse on what Coach Saban's retirement is looking like. I know a lot of people were saying, oh, he'll be in his little office above the stadium. A lot of people were thinking he was going to be down meeting with a lot of people. I'm sure he'll be involved in some capacity. We'll find out how much moving forward. But right now, do you know where he's at?
On the golf course?
Nope.
At a Taylor Swift concert.
No, he's not at a Taylor Swift concert.
No.
Look, here's where he's at. He's at the beach. Right, which that's a good. I'm sure somebody out there.
No, he's in Jupiter, Florida.
But I'm not done yet. He's not.
Is he on the beach?
See, let me finish. You're jumping the gun. Not only is he on the beach, he's in the water, and he's not just in the water. He's boogie boarding. He literally is riding a boogie board and just got swallowed up by a wave. It honestly was one of the funniest videos I think I've seen. Just because he looks so excited to just get swallowed up by a wave out there, boogie boarding, that I don't even recognize. I'm like, there's no way this Coach Saban right now boogie boarding. Like, he does. I loved it.
Was he out there in swim trunks and everything?
I mean, yeah, he had a shirt on. I look like in the video. Oh God, no! Come on, no, no, but yeah,
Nick Saban got it swole on. He got it swole on. Yeah.
No, he looked like a kid just having fun out there, man. And I'm like, dang, man, I know he's just been. Nothing less, but it's just like, I know he has a light side to him, but I just never thought I'd see a video of him boogie boarding. So I appreciate Kristen Saban said is sharing that stuff, because I think that's cool to give a lot of people.
It's just what we're getting ready to do, though. This everybody gonna be trying to spot Saban down in Florida and then everywhere else, taking snapshots and putting them on TikTok and Instagram and X and then even his own daughter. We got to see him out there boogie boarding. Are we gonna stalk Nick Saban in his retirement? Are we gonna give the man some rest?
First of all, nobody's stalking anybody. Second of all, his damn daughter posted the video, and it's just one video. It's not like you know what I'm saying, TMZ's following him around. I just personally thought
will be.
Seeing him, enjoy himself in the water boogie boarding. It was fun to see, man.
I'll follow him around.
Yeah. Oh God, no! Don't do that. You might get in trouble, man. Said might get on you if he sees any.
Wait a minute. That's the question. Is Said out there in the water holding the Coke couple? Gatorade cup while Nick Saban in the boogie board. That would be a great picture. Here's Said like here in the water.
I did not spot Said. What do you mean? Do you think Said can swim? What are you trying to get at there, man? That was a come on, that was a little suspect, man. Can he swim?
I can swim, but I'm not getting in the ocean water.
Why would Seth not be able to swim? Let's investigate that one. Why wouldn't he be able to swim?
I said, now you think I'm throwing shade.
No, I'm not. I'm genuinely asking. You said, can he swim? That seemed a little.
People ask me all the time, can I swim?
I'm not going to use the R word, but it seemed a little. A little stereotypical there, man.
It's Friday, folks. That's what we do. We just have some fun because ain't nothing really that serious going on. But anyway, good for Nick Saban. Said probably is not there. Sam says Sam is employed by the university. Not by Nick Saban.
That's not really true, Sam. I mean, technically, yeah, he's employed by a university. But I'm going to tell you one thing. Said does whatever the hell Coach Saban tells him to do. It's not like, and that's out of respect. It's not like, oh, he's telling him what to do. Like Said has no choice. But he is personally working with Coach Saban. I mean, and I'm telling you, from what I understand, he's not going to follow that same role with the new coach. He's going to stick with Coach Saban. So,
wait a minute. I got some breaking news for you.
Here we go.
You threw this out there. Tia said that Christian said this video was from 2018. It's not even real.
Okay, there we go. Well, then fake news for me.
Come on. Coach, come on.
He had fun with it, though.
Yeah, but Coach is not, he don't even strike me as a beach bomb type of dude. If anything, I would have been right saying Coach Saban would have been out there.
Oh, yeah, it's all that. See, I should have dove deeper into it.
You normally do your homework, bro.
I normally do, but look, like you said, it's Friday. My truck's in the shop. I've been running around, so I've been trying to figure all this stuff out. Speaking of that, I'm excited to pick it up. Got my lift being put on there. Yeah, exactly. It's going to turn out real good.
Here's what we're going to do. I'm going to take a break. We had the first segment just to be tripping a little bit.
Shout out to Off-Road Performance Direct. They're taking great care of me. If you guys are in any need of any type of truck work, lifts, tires, any of that good stuff, they do a lot. And they've got their new, bigger shop that they're opening up. Make sure you go check them out now. Again, that's Off-Road Performance Direct right here over in Northport.
What's it called?
Off-Road Performance Direct. If you're into, like me, you like lifting trucks, tires, wheels, all that.
For free, then.
Why?
You just gave me all that love. You know how much that work? What you just said, and you've been a doggone.
Don't worry about what I got going on. You just gave a free plug to it. You just gave a free plug to a cigar shop. What are you talking about?
That's my people.
Oh,
let's
okay.
go, girls.
And
I'm just saying.
Exactly. And I'm just saying, you truly gave a free plug.
All right, Lord, let's hit a break. Give me something. Let's go. All right, folks, we've entertained you for the first 15 minutes of The Edge, and now we're going to hit a break. Let's talk some football when we come back. Let's talk NFL playoffs because I want to get this in, because this is really, really some good games. I want to get your thoughts. I want to get your thoughts on who will be playing on Super Bowl Sunday, who you feel like, that first game, Kansas City and Baltimore, what does this mean for Lamar Jackson? Going to be the MVP of the National Football League. That's number 2 for Lamar Jack, right? But if he don't beat Patrick Mahomes, what is going to be the sentiment? Because that's what's going to take place. People say he can't win the big games. And so, he couldn't win a playoff game. That was the thing before. And he finally, got that monkey off his back, so to speak. Now what? So let's talk NFL. Any Bama guys on them teams? I think so. We'll talk about those guys that are playing on Sunday to get a chance to get to the Super Bowl. We'll do that next segment. We'll take your phone calls, 205-342-9904. Christian Miller. That boy Noah, he's doing this thing right there behind the boards, behind the glass on the boards. We'll get to that. Of course, we're going to talk some more Bama stuff. I got some questions. Got some more questions to throw out there at you to talk about the hire, the whole transformation, the exchange of power. I got some things I'm going to throw at you too as well during the course of the show. This is Real Judge on Tie 100.9 1230 AM WTBC. Let's rock. Back in a moment.
What's up, everybody? If you guys haven't already, you guys know the drill. We'd appreciate it if you hit that like button. Subscribe if you're not already. And let's get to it. Sam, yeah, trust me, I know all about Seth. I know I've known Seth for years. I know what he does and how long he's been here. I'm just telling you right now, the way things are looking at me, I don't think he's probably going to continue what he's been doing unless something changes. I think he's actually probably going to stick with Coach Saban in terms of the stuff around here, if I'm not mistaken. Could be wrong. I know he doesn't personally work for Coach Saban. I didn't mean it like that. What I'm saying is it's more so than just like working with him, at the complex. I mean, Seth does all type of stuff all around Tuscaloosa for Coach Saban. But yeah, trust me, I know about Seth. You ain't got to fill me in. I promise you, I'm filled in. Let's see. What's up, Chance?
Two zero 12:20 on the dial here on a Friday, free for all. We'll go wherever you want to go. Don't matter to me. Today's a fun day. We'd like to hang out with you. I kick things around. We're going to talk some NFL in just a moment. But first, I must, as a South Carolina Gamecock alumni, I don't know what you were doing last night, about 7 o'clock Central Time, 8 o'clock Eastern Time, watching the Full Letter Network. But hey, shout out to women's basketball, college women's basketball. What a crowd there in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, as Dawn Staley and the Lady South Carolina Gamecocks went on the road, went in the backyard, and snatched the heart out of them Tigers. I mean, when you talk about a team that's a consensus overall #1 team, lost every starter off the team last year that went like 36-1, by the way, had a fluke loss to Iowa. That's a fluke loss, by the way. Should have been national championships last year. They lost every starter. Dawn Staley, they called it the freshies and all of that. But a new group of kids there on the road beat a very, very good, very, very talented LSU team. South Carolina handled their business 76-70. What a game, Christian. I don't know if you watched that, man.
I did.
That was a phenomenal basketball game. And listen, I was that dude that hated women's sports. I'm going to be honest with you. I hated it. I mean, like, I could not do that. Women's sports could not really just get me to that intensity, basketball. I'm like, if I'm looking for fundamentals, if I'm looking for how to play basketball based on that, I like it. I could get down with softball. I can't get down with soccer, tennis, but the beach volleyball, though, I don't know if you watch some beach volleyball. Y'all might not have that in Alabama.
Hey.
And that ain't too bad to take in. I'm just going to tell you that. But anyway, last night was amazing. I think it was a major, major win for women's basketball, not just for South Carolina. And also, I can't stand the coach. Her fits are terrible. Her dress is terrible. Her hairdo, she needs another stylist. And then I also cannot stand, in a good, loving, Christianly way, I don't hate him. Can't stand him. I don't like him. Angel Reese, ever since how she did last year and won the championship and how she handled Caitlin Clark, I wasn't too mad about that. This is all about competing. But she wouldn't shut up. She keeps talking.
Wait, hold on.
I mean, she just gets on my last nerve.
Hold on.
Angel Reese gets on my last nerve. And if you like Angel Reese and her attitude is terrible. It's terrible.
No, I agree with everything you're saying, but what I'm trying to figure out, you you were going to war for her last year. I remember specifically. You were
I wasn't
you
mad
off
about
her
the
case.
competition
She's a man.
for Caitlin Clark.
I'll be honest with you. I wasn't too high on what she was doing. Now I was saying I get it. You know, in football, people trash talk and do all type of gestures and things, and we don't necessarily get on them the way we were getting on her. So I did acknowledge that. However, I'm not for all that. To me, that's corny. Like if you have to go out your way and go do this and somebody's face, like that's just doing way too much. And again, I went on the court though. Maybe Caitlin could have been talking crazy. I've been on a football field where dudes are, you might not necessarily see it, but on the field, they're saying crazy stuff. Just like I was telling you when you were talking about Nate Oates, should turn the other cheek or be mature that one time when the player said something. I'm like, dude, I don't think you understand how these dudes talk nowadays. I mean, kids talk crazy. And I'm like, they don't have the same amount of respect for authority as they used to. But I say all this to say, it's kind of interesting hearing your take on Angel Reese now, because last year you see him like her biggest supporter, talking all this and that. Yeah. And I'm not gonna lie, like I said, I defended to a degree. Just hey, I don't like how people are bullying her about it necessarily, just because I do get, as an athlete, things get chippy, things get competitive. However, that to me was a little tasteless, right? Like that's like us.
I mean, what you did,
that's like after us winning the national championship, us going and running in Georgia's face, and after second and 26 and doing my point. So coming from here, we always were told, win with class, lose with class, always carry ourselves a certain way. That's why me personally, I'm not for all that. So all the extra things that are done is a little much for me. Now I will say I did go to the game here when our women's basketball team played LSU. The turnout was great. It was a record number of attendance that game, because this is a really talented group, and LSU is a really good basketball team. So I do like watching them play. And last night was a really good game. But I'm not gonna lie, man, Dawn Staley, man, she's such a good coach. She's such a good coach. And then I love the South Carolina's women's basketball reminds me of like Alabama football, like the prominence, right? I mean, the long-term sustained success. You got Coach Dawn Staley. I mean, even Aaliyah Boston was at the game. Like that's how you like. I'm not saying I get women's basketball has been on the map, but programs like South Carolina women's basketball, LSU women's basketball, they really do extremely well for women's basketball. I'm not gonna lie, man. That game last night was a great game.
That was a great game. And I'm saying overall, I think the fact that game day was there, they brought the full crew, they brought their top women basketball analysts. I thought it was great for the sport itself. And I was saying that I wasn't a big component, or a big proponent, I should say, of women's sports in general, and especially women's basketball. I mean, I wouldn't watch it. You couldn't pay me to watch it. I was about, especially like basketball, if you can't give me the highlight dunks, man, the putbacks like we saw the other night against Auburn, if I can't see the high flying, the aerobatic moves and things like that, I don't want to watch it. But since Dawn Staley has been here, which I think now is almost 15, 16 years, and how she has turned the program around in South Carolina is absolutely amazing. She's been the number one spokesperson about women's sports. And now when you look at women's sports and you see how really good some of these women are, how athletic they are, it's pretty impressive. Yeah. Now, I got a couple people that tell me, man, you're crazy. They look at me, and I told them I went to their establishment and said, hey, I want to watch women's basketball. It's a great game on. I knew the team, it wasn't even South Carolina or Alabama. It was somebody else. And they looked at me like, what? You want me to turn my TV with all these other men in here on women's basketball? You crazy. And I'm like, yeah, because it's some daggum good competition. So shout out to women's basketball. Shout out to Disney. Shout out to ESPN for putting that on display for us to take a look at it last night. It was a great game. The atmosphere was just as good as any college men's basketball game. I think they had about 14,000 there. I mean, they were loud. You got South Carolina, who comes with swag. Dawn Staley got her Louis Gucci. You know how she do all her stuff. You got that coach, Kim Mulkey. She's got all her bad clothing on. Her fits are terrible. But she's very
some people will say the opposite. Some people like those fits, man. Very bold.
On our show, listen, that like Kim Mulkey.
You'd be surprised. Some people Call
I
it
would like to
passion.
hear. If you like the fit, please let me know because
Let me ask you this though. She had a Coca-Cola on. I mean, I'm guessing that was a brand deal.
And she
She was
getting
against.
paid.
That's
They getting
crazy. I've
paid.
never seen somebody have like a big Coca-Cola. Like, I mean, it was like stitched in there. It looked like like it's part of the outfit. It was crazy. But I mean,
Kim Mulkey looks
marketing,
like
advertising.
she is
That's it. There you go.
a retired home model.
Oh God.
Bro, I mean, she's trying to be cute. She got to get her fit tight. And she's old. Like she said in their press conference last night, she's like, hey, I'm not a spring chicken. Matter of fact, she mentioned Nick Saban. She was like, you know, it's a grind. She used the word that Nick used, talking about the grind of working every day and being that old takes a lot out of her. And she said, maybe I'm, you know, like Nick Saban, just be like, I'm out. I ain't giving you no kind of warning. It's just going to be like, I'm going to walk up in the meeting and be like, hey, y'all, I'm out. Like, mic drop out. That's what Nick Saban did.
She's a good coach,
out.
though. I'll give it.
No, she's a great coach.
Yeah, she's a really
and
good
she
coach.
turned LSU around very quickly, giving them their first national championship in women's basketball. Okay, as much as I love it, that's about all I can give it. I'm going to hit a break. We're going to talk football. We're going to talk Alabama. The question I have, we go to break, Noah. I like to hear what people. I mean, I know the fandom is there. I know the over the top optimism is there. But what number are you going to give Kalen DeBoer for wins next year? They got 5-star plus Ryan Williams. They got Noah Carter coming in. They got the transfer center. They got some dudes. They got it already still, even though the cupboards open up. As I look at my cupboards here on YouTube, see them? There's still stuff in there, although they've been rated. There's still some stuff in there to make some meals, right? That's Alabama right now. What is their win total? Realistically, in your mind, what's their win total? And what if they go 7-5? What if they go 8-4? Are you still shouting from the top mountaintop? They made the right decision. I want to get into some of that conversation right here on the Tide 100.9, 1230 AM WTBC. 252-9904. We're sponsored by our good friends at the Good Feet Store. Go see Douglas and the company of people over there at Midtown Village. Try before you buy. Back pain, knee pain, ankle pain, you name it. It works. It works for old gray dudes like me and young dudes like Christian that wear wife beaters to work. Good break. We'll come back. We'll chat more right here on the Tide 100.9. This is The Edge. Back in a moment.
See, now he's hating on me. Talking about white beaters. I told him they're tank tops, not white beaters. Let's see. Mr. Yoder, appreciate the super chat, man. That was funny as heck, talking about if Sed was in the water holding the cup behind Coach Saban. That was a good one. Man, no one said, man. Sed is Mr. Reliable, man. If Coach needed him to hold some water for him in some waves crashing down like that, I promise you he would do it, man. Sed is like first class. I mean, he's as first class as it gets, and all he cares about is helping other people. It's not even just Coach Saban. I mean, players. I mean, there's not been a time that I've been around him that he's not. You good? You need anything? I mean, love Sed, man. Love Sed. I hunt and fish with Sed a lot, man. So I really enjoy him. He's as solid as it gets. But thank you, Mr. Yoder, for that. John Jones with the super chat. Appreciate that, man. He said the super chat was for the shout out. Oh, no, you're good, man. I was giving him a hard time because he was talking about me doing that. You're fine, man. But thank you. Appreciate that. Danny says, I think Bama has 11 plus wins with the new style. Yeah, I mean, the potential's there for sure. But, I mean, you definitely got a tough schedule. You're going to have to grind out some of those wins for sure. But potential's there.
Old Fort Glory Miller, Christian Miller is jamming behind the glass there in Tuscaloosa. Noah, the best reader in Alabama. You got it app message on the Tide 100.9 free download for you. Go ahead, brother.
That's right. That's right. We got an app message from Buck. He has some interesting info for us, interesting stat. He says, "Did you guys realize all the Final Four playoff teams changed coaches except Kirby?"
I saw that.
Oh,
Yeah, I saw that.
that's
So
very true.
let's run through it. Number 4, Alabama. Coach Nick Saban retired. And then number 3, Texas. Oh no, wait, hold on. Oh, I think he might have. Yeah, no. 3 Texas. I think he mixed it up. So Texas is the only one that still has Sark. So number
Oh, yeah,
3,
yeah.
Texas has Sark. He stayed put. Number 2 was Washington. Coach DeBoer. He obviously left Washington to come to Alabama. Number 1, Michigan had Coach Harbaugh, who left to become the head coach of the Charter. So yeah. So yeah, I think that he meant Texas. But yeah, that is true. So 3 of the 4 coaches have moved. However, number 2 team went to the number 4 team, as in Washington, Alabama. So definitely interesting. But
Jed Fitz from Arizona to Washington. Washington, Kevin Boyle went from Washington to Alabama.
South Alabama's Kane Womack came to Alabama.
Went to the Chargers, which coach is still in the air. They have to wait 7 days in Michigan to be able to put the job out or list the job. So it's going to be like next week, toward the end of next week, maybe, that they could list that job. So many people believe that's going to be Sharon Moore. It's going to just kind of move up.
Yeah, and then
All right, the question. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
no, I was saying. But then you think about it. I mean, it goes even further, and you start. Kane Womack left South Alabama. Major Applewhite gets promoted to head coach.
We don't care about the group of 5 on the show.
Okay. Still, I mean, it's still some change, but
I
do
know,
this more
but
often.
you think anybody really
Coaches switch
concerned
all
about?
yeah, I was about. It's just like playing musical chairs. All right, go ahead.
Who going well? Major Applewhite though. He played at Texas, right?
I don't remember.
Yeah,
I mean,
Texas,
I'm
Oklahoma.
not. I just know he
Oklahoma,
was here at Alabama when I was here. Good dude, good coach. So that was good for him. Good opportunity.
Well, the question I asked before the break was, "What's your number?" I mean, what's your number? I mean, you can give me I'm fan man all day long. Okay, and 11-1, 10-2, but is 10-2 really realistic? Is 11-1 really realistic for Alabama football? Even when there's a lot of unknowns for us here in Tuscaloosa. I'll just tell you what I'm thinking right now. I feel like Alabama's going to go 8-4, 9-3. So my number that I would put on Alabama is 8.5. The schedule that they have with all the new pieces and the new coordinators and new coaches, in the SEC. I think right now, which a lot of the games that they have to play tough games are on the road, at LSU, at Oklahoma, at Wisconsin, at what's the other one I'm missing? They got Georgia at home.
At Tennessee.
At Tennessee, at Missouri.
No, Missouri's home.
Missouri's home. Okay, I'm missing one then.
No, you're not. You said at Oklahoma, at Tennessee, at LSU.
At Wisconsin. So, with all of that, new coach, I don't think it's going to be a step in, pick up where we left off, 10-2 type year, playoffs. I think they're going to be on the edge of that 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. I think 11 through 15 would be my, right now, opinion of Alabama football. Like, they're going to be ranked anywhere from 11, which means playoffs, to 15, which means they might need some help. So I think that's why I'm saying 8.5, 9-3 is kind of my idea of what I think they can get to. So I'm not going to say be a 10-2 guy. I'm going to be a 8. I think the over-under is 8.5 for me. So where do you feel on that? 205-342-9904. Let's take a phone call. Got Mike in Opelika on the phone. I hadn't talked to him in a skinny minute. Mike, how are you, sir?
I'm good. I'm so glad they wised up and gave y'all 2 hours. But the only thing with that is every time I try to call in, the phone's busy. So y'all are doing a great job. Hey, I wanted to change the subject real quick. I want to talk about the NFL playoffs. Someone sent me an interview, and I don't know if it was a sports handicapper or something. But he was saying in this interview that the NFL really wants Kansas City in the Super Bowl. Just viewership, the Taylor Swift angle, and all of that. And he said that they'll pick, and that they did pick, a head referee that when he refs games, the visiting team wins, I wanted to say 55, 60% of the time. And you played in the pro. Do y'all think that's possible that the NFL would do that? You think it's just a coincidence, or?
Well, Mike, I tell you, that's a tough question. I don't think so. I think, if you look at it from the business model, just as far as Kansas City, the day that I opened the show and I said, I do not want them to play, just from my viewership. I'm tired of seeing Taylor Swift. I'm tired of seeing all the panning of the camera to the box. And I'm tired of seeing her, you got the video of her on the golf cart getting to the game. I get it. I get this. What does she got? 20 million followers or something crazy like that? And all of these all of these Swifties love seeing her at the game, and they are crazy about her. I get all of that from a TV standpoint, how that brings money, right? They might could sell something more. They commercial wise, people, I get all of that, but I think for a lot of us, we're tired of it. Like, how they're focusing on somebody that's non-football related than the game. And that's what we've been seeing a bunch of the time. But I don't think this is some type of conspiracy, though, like with the referee and all that. I'm not going to believe that. But would they like to have Kansas City over Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens, who are, most people would say from that standpoint, very boring, don't bring that cachet, so to speak? Yes, I think they want Patrick Mahomes there. I think they want Kelsey, there because it's Taylor Swift, because that means more money. Can you imagine what those commercials will run during the Super Bowl with Taylor Swift? Do you think somebody's going to pay her money even to get her in a type of commercial? Absolutely.
Oh, definitely. And I just, it's going to be anxious to see how it's officiated, because I would have never thought anything, but they were like, well, just so happened the lead guy, and I don't even know his name, that when he does the game, the away teams normally will win. So, how do you think Detroit will do this weekend?
They're my upset special, Mike. I tell you, Dan Campbell, bite him in the kneecaps and his attitude, man. Listen, I love Detroit. I love, Jared Goff playing extremely at a high level. I love, of course, the former Bama players, Jahmyr Gibbs, Brian Branch, who, by the way, love Will Anderson, but Brian Branch should have been the defensive rookie of the year. James Williamson is there. They're a good football team. I know Aaron Glenn, the defensive coordinator, played in the league a long time. The defense was a little bit suspect, but they're playing better. Johnny on the spot, making plays, creating turnovers. So when you look at this National Football League and the Detroit Lions, I think they have the makeup of the type of team that go into Candlestick Park or whatever they call their new stadium in San Francisco and beat Mr. Irrelevant Brock Purdy, who I like what he's all about. Struggled last week in the first half for sure. Deebo Samuel's kind of iffy. He's a 50-50 guy, and it's a different offense without him, even though Christian McCaffrey is extremely, extremely good football player. I like Detroit pulling the upset and doing something that hadn't been done as getting those Lions in the Super Bowl. Imagine that storyline. I mean, with two of their best players in the history quit the team because the organization was so bad. But look at them now. So I got Detroit beating the San Francisco 49ers.
Yeah. Has there ever been a running back misused than Gibbs when he was at Alabama under Bill O'Brien?
I know, right? I mean, I had Gibbs, as Christian knows, as my player of the year, offensively, of rookie player of the year. He was really good. I know he splits time. He don't even get all the carries, but man, he is so good and he's so fast and he can do so many different things at that running back position, like catching the football out of the backfield. Really love how he plays.
Yeah, how he didn't make the Pro Bowl is beyond me. That was a ripoff. It's
all politics, and I'm telling you that stuff, man. And I talked about this on our show before because it happened to me in 1993. When I played several of the linebackers in the NFC, and it was like I was a reserve instead of a starter. I mean, it's like, you got to be kidding me. I mean, the dude had 2 sacks and went before me, but he's been, 5 of the last 6 years. So when players was voting, guess what? My name wasn't out there like that in the second, third year of my career. So they vote for the guy who they know their name.
And listen, the last thing, and I'll leave y'all alone. I see these mock drafts, and they've got New England, a quarterback, Chicago. Why don't these teams realize you got to surround your quarterback, whoever it is, with talent? I mean, if I've got a first 3 pick, I'm getting Marvin Harrison Jr. I mean, Brock Purdy is a perfect example. He's a good quarterback, but you surround him with talent, and look what you got. And I just don't get, they'll just pick these quarterbacks, don't give them anything to work with, and 2 years later they're going to draft another quarterback because they think they drafted a bust.
Well, New England is a mess. I mean, Belichick's gone, and Mac Jones felt so bad for him. I mean, was it last year? He had a defensive coordinator turn offensive coordinator calling plays. I mean, that team just really was just messed up. And you're right, New England haven't had dudes. I mean, they don't have Tom Brady there anymore to where you can put just average Joe out there at wide receiver and he make them better than what they are. You don't have that guy, so you got to have playmakers on the outside. New England haven't had that in a while. So a team like that, who knows? Jarrett Mayo, former player, played at Tennessee, I believe. Now the new head coach, he'll find an offensive innovator as a play caller and get some dudes in, and I think there'll be a much more complete team, I should say, coming up this year. Mike, thank you so much, man. Good to hear from you, brother. It is. That's Mike from Opelika. Appreciate that. Hear from him. We got Ron. Ron, you're up next year on the Miller's Edge. Go ahead.
Guys, how are y'all?
Doing
Good.
well.
How you doing?
Good. Good to talk to you.
You too. You as well.
Before I get to the main reason for my call, which was to talk about the schedule and the record for next year, Christian, loved you when you was playing, buddy, and love y'all shows. You need to give your old man a little leeway there. Yesterday afternoon, you was getting on him pretty bad when he was trying to talk about recruits and development, and I thought he was making a good point, but you were trying to give him a little too much grief.
Well, no, first and foremost, I appreciate it, Ron. Second, no, I wasn't giving him a hard time. What I was trying to make sure is he was understanding what people were saying about the comparison to Julio. Because I think initially he was thinking more so people were saying like them as like the type of player, but I was just making sure he understood that a lot of people were just kind of making the comparison of the impact of signing a player of that caliber. That's all that was. And trust me, he's got thick skin. He can take it, just like you heard today. He's been being a little bit of a tool on the show. So we go back and forth, but don't worry, Ron. He can take it. And the last thing I'll say is, I also have to kind of tread lightly because sometimes people take what he says as my own words too. So I have to monitor that as well. I don't ever want to be in Greg McElroy's shoes in terms of the fan base turning on me over stuff that I didn't say. So that's all that is.
Right. Yeah. Okay. And he's probably, if you get on him too bad, he's probably still got enough on you. He might still.
I was about to say, have you seen this dude? He is fine. Don't let look. He is. This dude,
you know I ain't scared.
Oh, I didn't say I was scared. No.
I still put these.
I was about to say, Ron, he ain't no. Just me. He might be getting a little bit older, but he still got his size to him. So he's tough. He'll be good.
I'm back in the gym I'm back in the gym run after my stroke now. So I've been 3 days this week, man. I lost. I'm gonna say probably 25 pounds. My goal is to lose 70 pounds.
I hear you.
I'm on it. I'm on it again, buddy.
You do it.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Praise God.
Well, listen, you threw the question out there about next year and the schedule and all that, and I don't know. Sounds like of course we lost some really really good dudes, which I hated. But if they want to go, then
show them the door.
I like to have people that I like to have loyal Alabama people playing and not just playing for money. So that's fine. But I think he's probably going to he's bringing in enough talent and got enough there in the wings. He ought to be able to do at least a 9-3 or better. I think a 9 or a 10 win season. I think would be be a reasonable expectation. I think most people would be happy with it, and it'd probably get us in the playoff, and then you never know what happens.
Yeah, and I lean towards your side of things, Ron. I think if you could 9-3, 10-2 is in my opinion completely doable, right? I just go and I look at the schedule and to my dad's points, you do have those tough road games. Now, if we were to flip this schedule with last year's schedule, I'd feel a lot more confident throwing down that 10-2 prediction. It's just when you look at it and you got Georgia coming here, and that's a revenge game for them. That you know that's tough. Then the week before that, you got to go play Wisconsin on the road. Not saying Wisconsin's the greatest team, but you're going on the road and playing against a solid program early on in the season. Again, keyword early on. That's only week 3. Now, we saw the growing pains that this team went through this past season, with the changes and whatnot. Again, Jalen Milroe's got a lot more experience now, but still, you got a whole new coaching staff. Things are a lot different. You lost a lot of guys, and you have a lot of youth. That's what I'm looking at. You got a lot of youth in terms of the secondary cornerback positions, right? Guys are going to go through growing pains. That's inevitable.
That's right.
So you just got to be realistically thinking there. But then again, going on the road at Tennessee, at LSU, those are two of the loudest environments I've ever played at in my 5 years here. Then again, going on the road to face Oklahoma a couple weeks after LSU. So definitely they got their work cut out for them. But I believe that we still have a lot of good talent, even though we lost some key pieces and some very talented guys. I think you've got plenty of guys to play with. It's just a matter of getting these guys bought in, getting them up to speed with this new system, and seeing how quickly we can go through some of those growing pains early on. If we can do that and kind of find our rhythms, soon in the season, I think that we have a chance of definitely kind of being around that 10-2, 9-3 mark. And I think that's a realistic expectation. Obviously, heck, things could go perfect. Things could go a little worse. Who knows? But again, I think there's just a lot of things that we just have to see play out. And I think we'll have some more answers as time progresses. Even after spring, I think we'll have a little bit more of an idea. As we go into training camp, that portal is going to open up after spring, and we'll have some more ideas on kind of who this staff might want to bring in. They might look to fill some more holes. And I think as we, inch closer to the season, we'll kind of have a lot more answers question. But I'm excited, Ron. I'll be honest with you. Even just starting with spring ball, I can't wait to kind of see how things start to take shape and how things look, because there's a lot of fresh energy right now with this program.
Yeah. And I'm far from an expert on the coaches and assistant coaches that's out there in the football world, but from what I know and hear, I'm encouraged with the staff he's put together and putting together. Sound like it should be a good one.
Yeah, no, I think
offensively they're good for sure. My only question, Ron, is the defense. I'm just, I'm still not sold there just yet. I gotta see. I mean, you can't take away what Washington and their offense has done under Mike Penix Jr., and especially the last couple of years. And I know it's problems, at the other schools, but defensively, we got to wait and see. And we've lost a lot of major pieces there. So that has to be fixed, right? And so, in this league, the SEC, and how important it is to win in the trenches and stopping the run, can they put something together to be that defense again? It's kind of my only question.
And Christian mentioned the spring practice, and this has probably been mentioned, and it probably will a lot more, I'm sure. But yeah, I think it'd be good if we could do our new coach like we did Saban when he came in. Everybody could really turn out, especially for his first spring game, and show support and enthusiasm for him. I think that'd go a long ways too.
Go a long way. Bring some extra money too. It's gonna be like I'm gonna be there leading the collection. I'm gonna be the deacon at the church at A-Day with a basket, but I'm gonna have some buckets out there. Donate some money to Yay, Alabama, because we need to get some more players. So I'm gonna be the deacon of A-Day when it comes to collecting money. So come on out, give me $95,000 at A-Day, and we probably could raise about $500,000. We might get us about 2 or 3 good players.
That sounds good, bud. That sounds good.
All right, Ron.
I'll
Thanks so
go
much,
do something else.
Thank you, Ron.
God bless
Bye-bye.
you. Appreciate it. That's Run. That Run goes. Appreciate the phone call. Quick timeout. We'll finish up this hour after the timeout. We'll be back in a moment.
What are your guys' thoughts on that? I didn't see too many down here on the on the record prediction? I know some people are saying you got to wait and see. Just right now, like where you see what if you looked at this schedule, kind of where do you see us falling? It's just a fun prediction. I'm just curious, kind of where everybody else's thoughts are on that. Fred says, "Why is Corey predicting 8-4, 9-3? There's only 3, maybe 4 teams with a better roster. 4 losses would mean DeBoer is being out coached in 3 or 4 games. I see a 10-2 with this roster." Well, I hate to break it to you, Fred. The only thing is, man, it doesn't necessarily always mean if you have the talent that you're necessarily just going to automatically win football games. I wish football worked like that. If that was the case, hell, we would have never lost a game. You know, literally had a #1 recruiting class every year. Hell, as you saw, I mean, even at South Florida this past season, their roster isn't even half as good as ours, right? I mean, football is football, man. You can lose on any given day, honestly. I see 10-2s, 9-3s, yeah, 10-2, possibly 11-1. Yeah, and I think at least the metric that I look at is I just look at the schedule. Obviously, I look at our roster, you know, and things like that. But I mean, I think the best way for me to try to, in my head, get an idea, I look at the schedule and I go, you know, week by week. Western Kentucky win, South Florida win, Wisconsin, I think, you know, might be a little tough going on the road there, but I think we win that one. Georgia, I'm not going to lie. I'm kind of on the fence about that one. That's why, to me, 10-2 would look like maybe falling to Georgia and losing either on the road at LSU or maybe Oklahoma. That's where I see like a 10-2. 9-3 would be if you just happen to lose maybe Georgia, LSU, and Oklahoma. And again, Missouri's good this year, so you got to, you know, respect that matchup.
I think for 299.04, a little Biggie Smalls there for those that don't know. Biggie Smalls. That's one of my favorite. Taylor Swift. Don't call me a Swiftie, but call me Big. A Biggie. All right. All right, let's.
You see the
sleep?
you see the
on gun.
no, I was going to say, did you see the comments of kind of responding to your question about the record? I see a lot of 10-2s, 9-3s, 10-2, 11-1, 9-3, 11-1.
I'm a 9-3 guy. I'm 8.5.
No, that's not where nobody.
I say my over and under is 8.5. I'm taking an over. 9-3 is where I think they'll land. I said somewhere between 11 and 15 as far as the rankings on that cusp of making the playoffs. That's kind of what Ryan was just saying too. I could give them 10-2. I mean, I got the schedule pulled up. We're gonna hit the next hour. Just hold on to that thought. But I want you to think about this. You know, somebody down the street is doing some good things, but ain't nobody talking about this stuff. We need to talk about it. Lane Kiffin pulled off the biggest signing of the transfer portal, right? Yesterday, Ole Miss announced that they got commitments from offensive line Julius Buelow and Nate Kalipo, both offensive linemen, starters from that Joe Moore award-winning offensive line. We got the center, but Kiffin got 2 dudes.
One of them was a guard. I'm not sure about. Let me look at the other guy. We probably could.
They got 2 starters off the Joe Moore award-winning offensive line.
If one was a tackle, I would say we missed out. The guard, I mean, I'd take Jaden Roberts and Tyler Booker over. I know they're on the Joe Moore award-winning, but I like Jaden Roberts and Tyler Booker and their physicality. Now, there is one thing that I'm curious of, and I meant to bring this up earlier in the week. I am interested in seeing how Jaden Roberts and Tyler Booker, you know, perform in this new scheme. The reason I say that is if you watch Washington, I talked about when we got Parker Brailsford, so much movement that is required, right? I mean, they constantly are pulling centers, guards, tackles, right? And it's not just in run plays. I mean, they like to pull for pass pro, so that you got to be very mobile in this scheme. And I'm not saying those guys aren't, but I know I would probably classify them more as maulers, more power running type schemed lineman, in my opinion. At least, Tyler Booker definitely, he's definitely a big body. But, Tyler Booker's like, almost 350, I think. Jaden Roberts seems a little bit more kind of build-wise, but I also know when I was talking to some folks, they actually said that, like, one of the reasons, he was not necessarily playing as early, but I think they were saying that he kind of struggled to move as well. I mean, he's definitely really strong. With that being said, I will be curious to see how our guys kind of adapt to that, because you and I both know, I mean, a guy could be elite in one scheme because he does something so well, but then you put him in another scheme, you're asking him to do things he's not necessarily the most comfortable doing, and sometimes you see them take a step back. I don't think that's going to be the case, but I am curious to see how their game translates to this scheme. But knowing these coaches, I'm sure they also will adapt with their personnel, like we've heard them say. But that's just something.
Well, I think it's going to be more. I mean, because I'm really one of the things I'm holding, and I'm keeping a receipt for Kalen DeBoer, is the fact when he said that he is not about imposing his scheme so much on the offense. He's about building around the talent level in which what he has. So when you look at who Alabama is right now, right, and what they have, especially coming back, they are I think the running game is a heavy deal. They're not going to be the Washington what we saw in the college football playoffs. They're not built that way. I mean, Jalen Milroe's not built that way.
I was going to ask you about that. I was going to ask you how you see him fitting in this scheme, because
no. I don't see him fitting in the scheme. And we're going to talk about this. We're going to stop our break. But Milroe don't fit into Kalen DeBoer's scheme, right? So we'll talk about that, and I'll tell you why he doesn't fit to the scheme and what needs to happen. I'll give you my opinion on that and get Christian's as well. We got to hit the top of our break. Plus, what is your number? Mine is 9. Regular season, 9-3 for the Tide. I think they lose 3 games, and I think they will be one of the last 10, 11, 12 when it comes to playoffs. They'll fit somewhere in there, in my opinion. What is yours? I'll hear from you on that. We'll talk about the scheme. Does Jalen Milroe fit? What's your thoughts on that? Take your phone calls and all of that good stuff. We got one more hour to go. Sit back, relax, and enjoy this ride here on a Friday as we listen to the radio by Noah. Back in a moment.
Oh, yeah. What are your thoughts on that? How do you think Jalen fits in the scheme? Because again, you got to remember, a lot of people say they forget a lot of this stuff. A lot of people were kind of critical of Jalen and his throwing ability and all that good stuff. And even when Tommy Reese was kind of having him in those straight drop back situations, not really tailoring a lot of stuff to him. Do you think they'll modify things for him? Do you think he'll how do I say this? Not necessarily alter his game, but kind of progress through the offseason to be a better fit. What do you guys think on that? We'll give our opinions, but I'm curious kind of what you guys think, how this offense will be with Jalen Milroe. I see Jeremy says Grubb will tweak the offense to Milroe. Yeah, I definitely think they'll make some adjustments. I don't see them totally changing what they do, but I think he will, like you said, kind of tweak things to kind of tailor things to him and what he does well. Jeremy said, "Don't have a number. Just ready for the season start." Yeah, me too, man. I'm excited. As long as the new center can snap the ball, it'll be fine. I mean, that's a large piece, right? That is definitely a large piece. Halfway through, guys. If you guys haven't already, make sure you like the stream. That always helps us out. If you're not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. We appreciate that. Join the team. Let's see what else we got. So wait and see with everything new for the team. Absolutely. No, I agree. Everything really is just wait and see. Tia said Nate Caleppo played left guard, 13 starts. Julius, God, man, these West Coast names. Julius Bulow played right guard. So they're not misses. All right, good. Yeah, as long as they aren't tackles, I'm cool on it. We're good.
It is the perfect time. What about those sounds from Michael Jackson, the best artist to ever live, right there? Michael
Well, except for Taylor Swift.
Jackson. Come on,
The Swifties will respectfully disagree with you on that one.
no, Michael Jackson. Man. Y'all were so young though, but Michael Jackson was that.
I like
dude.
Michael Jackson. I probably didn't get to really enjoy, Oh, whoa, okay. I probably didn't get to enjoy it, to the extent you did. You were there for his prime, right? But
Let's go, girls.
Yo, Michael was a bad boy. Quick though, shout out, not so much, but give flowers and acknowledgement to former Alabama coach Paul Bear Bryant. 41 years ago, he passed away. 41 years. That seems like not that long ago, but it's been a minute. 323 wins, 85 losses. He was 232, 46, and 9 at Alabama. He had 6 national titles. 14 SEC titles, 29 bowl appearances, and 3-time Coach of the Year for the Bear. How about this record? 72-2 at BDS, right? So we lift up that name. I don't remember him like that, but I know all about him because we heard and read everything about those accomplishments. But what a coach, Paul Bear Bryant, 41 years ago, he left us here. All right, 205-342-9904. All right, here we go. Bama football. What's your idea of what the record's going to be? I got over under 8.5. I'm saying 9-3. And it depends on what happens. I think it's going to be a traffic jam at 9-3. So I think it's going to be like who'd you lose to, strength of schedule, that type of thing. We'll be arguing who should be.
who should be in the playoffs? I'm assuming I think you might have cut off for a second. Kind of things probably will get muddy.
College football players, I hit the mute button.
There you go.
So 10, 11, and 12, who's going to be those teams? I mean, you know how we argue about the 4 and how everybody went crazy about Florida State not making it and blah, blah, blah. Florida State fans, you had politicians, I mean, it was crazy, right? Well, I think we're going to have that same argument. I think Alabama's going to be in part of that argument again, but this time, are they 10, are they 12? That type of thing. So I think we'll see what they're going to be. Love to get your thoughts on that. Don't forget to download the Tide 100.9 free app on your smartphone or on your computer. Love to hear from you there. Now, we're talking about Kalen DeBoer and Grubb. Offense at Washington, dynamic the last couple of years. Very, very good last year. How does this affect Jalen Milroe? It's going to not affect Jalen Milroe because this is what the coach said. He said basically, I don't believe in telling players what I've been saying ever since I've been on the air and basically all my life doing football. The dumbest coach or dumbest coaches in the world tries to tell players what they have to do to run their system. But the smartest coaches take and say, you know what, this player cannot do X, Y, and Z. Therefore, I need to, input something that player can do. Meaning, I need to drum up some things that he can do and take advantage of his skill set. So to ask Jalen Milroe to try to be Michael Penix Jr., right, would be the dumbest thing that you ever could do. It would not be smart at all. And one thing I love what Kalen DeBoer said, he is not that type of guy. He's going to build around the talent. Now, will that offense have some aspects of what they did in Washington? Maybe. But to me, is what we talked about all year long and how I was on Tommy Reese's hiney the most of the year by not being willing to change, right? Not being willing to put together something that this dude can do. I ain't gonna sit here and say, hey, like some people, from the neck up, he's not a blunt. This guy can do it better. No. You look at your quarterback room and you say, you know what? This is the best dude. Like Nick Saban said, the cake came out the oven and that was the best dude that gave us the best chance to win the football game. Jalen Milroe. Now the coordinator should have said, okay, well, this is what he does great. Then this is what I need to call. This is what we need to run. And I put together plays based on that. And that's the one thing I'm really looking for because if Kalen DeBoer is smart, he looks at this freaking Ferrari of a quarterback that runs a 4.3 and 230 that can throw the deep ball, one of the best deep ball throws in the country, right? Now you hope you have a better offensive line that gives him better protection. Let's remember, guys, that Alabama offensive line was putrid last year. Let's be honest. They weren't good. They won, 139 in pass protection rate. Last year, 40, upper 40s in sacks. Alabama, are you kidding me? So, can they be better offensively? We ain't talked about it, but who's the offensive line coach and what he's about? Let's look at his resume. Let's look at his history and see what these dudes are going to be all about. Because that's the one area we can sit and say this is good. But the offensive line, two of them, I love Booker and I love Roberts, but they were part of a bad offensive line. They were part of an offensive line that was 139 in the country. So whose fault is that? Is that Eric Wolford's fault that's gone now? Was it the players? You talked about the size of the players. And what we saw of them, they like to move their guys around. They like to pull their guys.
Oh, yeah, they're going to have to lose some weight this offseason.
Right.
They're going to get in.
So that's on Ballou, the sprint coach, of getting them down and getting them more athletic, more agile, more better in space, right? Because that's what they're going to need to be. So that being said, Christian, my whole thing is this, man. If Kalen DeBoer is not willing to change and he's trying to make Jalen Milroe be Michael Penix Jr., we got a problem. And I know a lot of people are sitting there going, well, shoot, man, he's got Austin Mack. He's got, Ty Simpson. He's got all these guys that sitting there waiting. Well, they can be that guy. But right now, they had proven that they're the best quarterback in the room.
Right.
The best quarterback in the room is Jalen Milroe, who has one of the top 3 or 4 odds in the country to win the Heisman Trophy. So the smart coach said, hey, I got this guy for a year, okay? This may not be what I want to do offensively. This may not be my whole thing, but smart coaches say, this is what I got. And I know this dude can sling it 70 yards, and he puts it on the money. I know this dude can run RPO game. I know I got some good tight ends. I got some good slot receivers that can work the middle of the field. So I'm going to implement a system that's RPO related, play action pass related, deep ball related. And you know what them short passing games going to be? Half rolls, right? Getting him out on the perimeter, bootlegs, booting out, looking for crossing routes, short, shallow crosser, deep crosser, dig routes, which means deep and in, dig route. I'm allowing him to throw those games. I'm not going to sit back there and say, Jalen, listen here, son. I need you to take the direct snap, and I need you to scan so much. Okay? Go to 1, 2, 3, okay, 4. My 5th check down, I pull. Here you go, Jan Miller. I'm not going to ask you to do that because I'm going to take advantage of what you do well. Now, if you want a chance in the NFL, maybe you got to learn something to do that. Lamar Jackson does it a lot better than he used to. Look at him today. We're going to get a second MVP. So that's what I'm looking for this spring. Now, how does that bode for those other quarterbacks? Well, Ty Simpson can run, by the way. You see that? Remember a couple quarterback touchdown runs he had? He got some wheels on him.
Yeah, the one he dropped the ball on the 1 yard line, man. That was a great play. I hated that for him, man. Yeah. Definitely a learning lesson, though.
So that's all I got on that. But I'm just saying, Jalen Milroe's not going to have to learn the system in which we've seen at Washington. I don't think it's going to. If it looks like that, then I'm going to change my 9 to 7. If they asking Jalen Milroe to beat Michael Penix Jr., then I'm taking my 9 and 3. I'm going 7 and 5 because that would not be the smartest move. Because
Tommy Reese asked them to do that a lot, and they made it to the playoffs. So I think that's a little bit of a stretch. But
yeah, but we got a more difficult schedule.
That's fair. But what I'll say is, though, I do think that Jalen's definitely going to progress more as a player, as a quarterback this offseason. I still don't think it'd be smart, like you're saying, to necessarily make him do the same things they expected out of Penix at Washington, if that's still not where he's at with his development. But knowing this staff, they seem to do well when it comes to developing guys and getting them to play to their strengths, and that's what Coach DeBoer talked about. So I think that's what we'll see. However, I think the thing with Jalen Milroe is not necessarily his throwing ability. I see some people that don't think he's talented enough as a passer. No, he can pass the football very well, and he can hit those throws. I think the biggest key for him, and I talked about this, and again, I think I think it's what stands out the most is he's got to develop his ability to scan the field and go through his reads quicker, not hold the ball so long and trust what the defense is giving him. That's the biggest thing. It's not anything about, it's not nobody saying that he can't do it. Nobody's saying it has anything to do with his intelligence. It's just a matter of, as a quarterback, we all know you've got to be able to see what the defense is giving you. You got to go through your reads. You got to scan things, and you got to be quick with it. Because what happens if you're not, you end up holding the ball, and I think that's what led to some of those sacks. Now, obviously, the offensive line, in my opinion, was majority of the issue. But some of those sacks, and you even agreed, was from holding the football too long. And then there was other times where he did kind of miss some of those guys that probably would be open. I don't know if the pressure was kind of there, but that to me is the biggest area of improvement for him. And I think they'll work with him on that. But nonetheless, I do think they'll find a way to get the most out of him. And I'm expecting some big things from him this upcoming season. Because again, we thought he would do well this season. He ended up doing well, probably overachieved in a lot of people's opinions. But I'll say this though, if you watch Washington's offense, yeah, they do a lot of the drop back pass and stuff like that. But they also they utilize screens a lot to set things up, right? They like hitting, their tight ends in the middle of the field and different things they have crossing routes. It's not just like drop back, 5-step drops. They do a lot of different things, right? And so I think we'll see a lot of those things, and I think that will help Jalen Milroe out as he continues to progress. So I think it actually will work out well. But I was curious on your thoughts on that because I do know that technically him and Penix are different types of players, and that was kind of a question that a lot of people had. How does he fit into this? And I think we both kind of answered that in terms of we expect them to kind of shift things a little bit, tweak it to him, but also I think they'll actually help him out a lot. I think him having a coach like, Coach Grubb to really help him develop will be great for him. And I think we'll see him elevate his game this upcoming season.
Well, the best thing that Caleb and the boys have done is got the center. We all agree to that because that was a mess. That was a hot mess, especially in the Rose Bowl. But listen, I think they're going to adjust the offense more than just a little bit. I mean, because Michael Penix couldn't run the ball. They ran Michael Penix. We saw that some against Michigan. But, boy, you got something now that would be a big time. I mean, Tommy Reese last year, Jalen Milroe wasn't a threat running the football because he was still very lazy in calling RPO games. Right? That's got to be a package. That's got to be a big package for Alabama. The running game has to be better. A better running game that's a little bit more innovative, not just turn around and hand the ball off to Jam Miller to Justin Haynes. It's got to get better. Got to run more trap. You talk about those offensive linemen lose the weight so they can run more counterplay. I mean, pulling guards, pulling tackles, pulling tight end and the guard around OF plays, attacking that C gap, giving those guys opportunity to get to the second level of the run. So we got more. We're going to get some meathead football for you this hour, even the more. But we're going to come back. We got an app message from KJ, and KJ's on the line now. So we got him, Ellis, and more from Mike. Got a lot to get to on the program. Plus, a lot of you on our YouTube channel as well. A lot of good comments from you as well. Keep them coming. This is the Tide 100.9, 1230 AM WTBC with the home of Alabama Crimson Tide Sports. Happy Friday, everybody. Keep it locked. We'll be back in a moment.
As the world keeps changing, so does COVID.
Let's see. If you haven't already, we'd appreciate you guys hit that like button. That always helps us out. Hope everybody's enjoying their Friday. Hope everybody's having a good start to their weekend. Let's see what we got here. 315, 320 weight is good. Yeah, no, and I'll be honest with you, man, there's not really much of a need to be over that in football. Now, some guys have different frames and different builds, different statures, so that's different. Some guys naturally are going to be around 330-ish, but they still are in a much more lean state, right? They're in better shape. That's just given their build. But, yeah, I mean, let's see. Matter of fact, let me look at Tyler Booker's what, 6'5"? He's naturally a bigger dude. So, I mean, he's going to be heavier, but they got him listed at 6'5", 350. I'll be honest, man. With his frame and his build, I think 335 would be great. just to help those guys be able to move better, because that's going to be required. At least if they're running things the way they've been running them. I mean, if you guys just go back and watch Washington's offense, man. I mean, whether they're pulling, whether they're doing like elephants on parade, which mean they're all running, like in a sprint out type blocking scheme. I mean, they ask a lot out of their offensive linemen in terms of movement. So that's just something I'm really going to be looking at. But yeah, I mean, I think that helped out tremendously. In terms of Jalen Milroe, I think everybody's got a lot of good points. Sam said, I think he holds on the ball, waiting for guys to get open, basically not wanting to kind of throw guys open because he's kind of worried about interceptions. I think that's a fair point, man. Just kind of playing it a little too safe, which is fair. You want to protect the football because they were harping on him. Everybody was harping on him to protect the football, so that would make sense.
$19 on the dial here on a Friday. Corey Miller, Christian Miller, Noah Haynes behind the glass, bringing those beats to you, reading those app messages, doing his thing, the best reader in all of West Alabama. But, scratch that. He's the best in the state of Alabama. That being said, let's take it to my man Noah, who likes to go by Johnson today. He said he's going to rep the last name Johnson. So when you see him on the strip tonight down there at what's a couple of spots on the strip called?
I'm not giving. Why are we plugging the strip, man?
Noah Johnson likes to go to the strip.
No, we'll just say it's the places on the strip. Some of those places, man. I'm just saying some of those places aren't cool.
I'll go to number 5.
I'm just saying some of those places aren't very cool, man. So I don't want to give them promotion. They got some people.
Listen up, dude. Take that call and put your wife beater thing on. All right, Noah, give us an app message, sir, please.
Yeah, we've got one from KJ, but he's on the line now, so I'll wait to let him say his thoughts. But we got another short one from Mike. He says, in my opinion, Jalen aspires to be a great passer. I bet he's excited to fit in the Gain offense this upcoming year. So is Mike talking about?
Well, I mean, I think Jalen is a good passer. I really do. I think, playing the quarterback position, guys. I mean, for years we've, especially in the last couple of decades, we got so used to Peyton Manning and Drew Brees, all those guys that are the typical prototype, pocket passer, right? Guys that's smart. The check with me package. When I say check with me package, I mean a quarterback like Peyton Manning, Drew Brees, those guys, they had the ability to change the plays at the line of scrimmage. So they say check with me basically. So they have a call, they get to the line of scrimmage. We're in a particular defense. So they check the play call or something else. That's what that is. But they have the ability to run different plays. You don't see a whole lot of that anymore. Now the game is predicated on mobility. The game is predicated on quarterbacks being able to extend plays, right? Being able to run around, buy time, be Patrick Mahomes and all these crazy throws. So that's the game in which they play now. Not so much, hey, you got to change the play. But I do think Jalen Milroe can be a really good passer, but I think his skill set is based on getting him outside the pocket, right? Giving him some options, because there are plays you see him where he did scan the field. He did, against Georgia, the check down to Jam Bill, I think. Very, very nice play, right? He done those things several times. I saw film where he did scan. He went from 1 to 2. Progression was there, and went to the open guy. So he can do it, but that's not his strength. His strength is, to me, off of the RPO game. You look at Talia Tagovailoa, who played at Maryland under Mike Locksley. Mike Locksley was here at Alabama with Tua Tagovailoa. Tua was an RPO kind of type quarterback. A lot of boom play action, zipping the ball to Devontae Smith. Think about all the slants that Tua threw. That was all based off RPO action, right? So he can do that, Mike. I think he can be a better passer. So one of the things that I will say that I think Grubb and I think Kalen DeBoer will help Jalen Milroe with is it's just the footwork. I think he needs better footwork. Right? If you look at his footwork as a quarterback, it's pretty sloppy. And you see that from the more athletic quarterback that sometimes, they believe in their legs when things break down. And therefore, sometimes they get themselves in trouble with their footwork. So I think you can help him there. You might can help him with his throwing angles and things like that. So they're working on all that stuff, the fundamentals of the game. But when you talk about as far as the strength, man, you gotta do those things that what he does very well. But yet still work on. Thanks. Appreciate the message again. That Tide 100.9. You can ask questions right there. Absolutely. Let's go to the phone lines 205-342. Ellis, you're up first on this segment. Welcome in, sir.
Roll Tide, gentlemen.
Roll Tide, Ellis. What's going on?
Tide.
10-2.
I like it.
Oh, 10-2. I like it too. Who are the two losses coming to in your opinion right now?
That I don't know. I've been debating on that.
At Wisconsin, at Oklahoma, at LSU, at Tennessee. Which one of those road games you think they might split?
Oklahoma.
So Oklahoma, then I would assume Georgia at home might be a loss for them.
Could be, yeah, that one. Yeah, because that's a tough team right there. I have to give them credit. They got a good coach
coming back. They don't have the tight end. He went to the pros, but at the same time, they got those two younger tight ends. I think especially really good.
But I can tell you one thing: it ain't gonna be the Booger Eaters.
Let's hope not. Oh, God, Well, let's ask that though. Let's ask that though. I'm curious though, because I don't think that is the case. But say for whatever reason, the Booger Eaters get the best of Coach DeBoer in his first season. How do you think people are going to respond to that? I mean, I already know the answer. That's
oh, they're not going to like it at all.
No,
but it's his first season.
No, it definitely is his first season. I understand, but I still think that's one that you can't afford to. Even though it's his first season, I'm just knowing how much that game means, man, and playing in it.
Yes, yeah.
Quarterback.
I agree. There'd be a lot of unhappy Alabama fans. A lot of locals wouldn't like it at all.
Oh, and for there's people asking who are the Booger Eaters. That's Auburn for anybody wondering. That's what Ellis.
Booger U, baby. That's Booger U.
That's Ellis's name for Auburn.
Oh yeah, that's what we call them on Ryan's show.
Booger name is it's just like
well, that's okay. Well, I've never heard of that till Ellis, so that's where I got it from.
Oh man, yeah, listen, that's what we call them.
Man, the Booger Eaters coach, his days might be numbered. I don't know how good Auburn could be this year. I mean, Hugh Freeze, who when he was at Ole Miss, of course, had Alabama's number. I think he beat him twice, beat Nick twice. Went to Liberty, and boy, he was very stellar. That program's still very stellar. Jamie Chadwell, who came over from Coastal Carolina, took over. They were really good this year. I mean, they lost a bowl game, but had a phenomenal year. But when you look at what's happening at Auburn, I mean, losing Cadillac, who well beloved, and stepped in as an interim coach, had the back of the players, and the players had his back, and other coaches left, and people started transferring out. Now Ryan Williams just stiff-armed him. I mean, so if he goes 7-5, 6-6 like he did this year, the next year, it may be after this year, he could be out of a job because
I hope.
Don't care. They're buying up in a skinny minute.
Yeah, it'd just be so funny to see that happen, because they just thought, we finally got somebody, and boom, but we got somebody. I had an LSU fan on, I still call it Twitter, saying, was talking about Brian Kelly. People was about him. You think he could leave to go to Michigan? I go, I hope he does leave. It'll just tear y'all all to pieces. And he goes, well, why? Are you worried about the staff that you got coming to Alabama this year? And I go, there's nothing wrong with the coaching staff we got.
No. I think, I'll go as far as saying, I think offensively, I would say it's probably an upgrade in terms of the staff. I really like the wide receiver coach. I think he brings great energy. He does a really good job with his group. And then, Ryan Grubb, a guy that Coach Saban was seeking to come to Tuscaloosa and be offensive coordinator. Coach DeBoer, obviously, a very bright offensive-minded coach, really good with X's and O's. So offensively, man, yeah, I definitely think so. I mean, defensively, I definitely think we have great staff. Still got Freddie Roach, right? And the guys that they've brought in, I think they're good football coaches. A little bit more on they're less proven just on this level just yet, but that's fine. I think they're still going to be good coaches. We'll see kind of how they all come together. And you think offensively, they pretty much brought everybody. The only guy they retained was Robert Gillespie. Defensively, they retained Freddie Roach, and then they got coaches from different places. So we'll kind of see how everybody kind of comes together defensively. So that's why I think a lot of people are a little more certain on the offense side of things. Defense, we're still kind of waiting and seeing how it plays out. But that's going to be key, though, because we all know, I get it, nowadays with college football, it's all about scoring points and all that good stuff, but you still got to be able to play defense.
You got to have a good defense, though.
Got to have good defense. And I'll tell you.
I'm worried about the defense. I've been on record. I'm worried.
And you know what? One thing I will say, I wouldn't say worry, but one thing that I'm looking to see kind of how it plays out, and I guess you could almost call it, I wouldn't say is a concern, but you lose talented pass rushers like Dallas Turner and Chris Braswell. So you've got some question marks around your pass rushers. I know we still got the interior guys, but I'll be honest. I mean, Tim Keenan, Tim Smith was, they're not necessarily elite pass rushers for defensive linemen. Let's just be honest. They're good football players, but not elite pass rushers, right?
Yeah.
Secondary, you've got Malachi Moore, who's a veteran. And then you brought in Damani Jackson, the cornerback from Southern Cal. He's got experience. Other than that, I mean, Devontae Smith, he was slated to start, but he got injured. Good football player. Other than that, it looks like you're probably going to be reliant on several freshmen at the cornerback positions, whether that's a corner, nickel. I mean, and there might be some other guys that step up, and you still could go to the portal in the spring. But what I'm saying is, we all know that pass rush and coverage go hand in hand. And the only reason I would say it's a slight concern for me is because we've kind of got some unproven spots up front with our pass rush. And then we also kind of have some unproven spots with our secondary. That being said, that equation kind of is a recipe for some concern maybe. However, I think once the season gets going and we go through those growing pains, things will be fine. But that's something to pay attention to, because again, if you're not having, great pass rush up front, that means those secondary guys, they've got to be able to cover for a long time. If those guys aren't doing a great job covering for a long time, then you need guys to get home up front. And if you got both of them that are still trying to figure things out, that is something to pay attention to. So that's one thing I am looking at on the defense.
Yes, and it's like you said, it's unknown. Because we getting somebody else in, he's not been like at a top tier teams like the SEC and other ones. So we'll just have to see about the defense. But
it needs some juice. You know what I mean? It needs some juice, Ellison. Yeah. That's
what I hope. I hope we get back into being real aggressive defense like we used to be.
Yeah, and listen, I'm gonna talk more about this too after the break, because there's a couple things that I'm hoping that Womack brings, to the table with the 4-2-5 defense that I think can be better than what Nick Saban employed as his defense. And I think it could bode well for Alabama. And I think that's the style for one. Number two is the aggressiveness, right? That we don't have them four dudes. We don't up front that you can just sit there and go, hey, we can sit back and drop 7, play 2 shell, cover 2, make you dump the ball off to the check down, and we come and blow them up with our coverage and playing the curl flat, right? We don't have that kind of people. We don't have that makeup right now. So I think they can change some things, be more aggressive, get out the zone so much. If you can't get there with 4, guess what you got to do? You got to bring pressure. You got to be able to bring pressure, and you can't leave them freshmen back there just being naked back there and going up against receivers. You do that, that's not going to be good.
Right.
Well, that's what I hope we get back to.
Well, you're going to go down there and coach him up. You're going to be my co-defensive coordinator.
Yeah. We got to stop by Alumni Hall first, though, when I come down.
Stop by Alumni Hall and get out.
There you go.
Hoodies. We're going to be our Bill Belichick hoodies. We're going to coach like Belichick. Cut off hoodies. You know what I mean? That's what we're going to wear. So we're going to be ready to go.
Yeah.
Ellis, thank you.
Yeah, that's where you need to go.
That's
There
right.
it goes.
As always, Alumni Hall. Ellis, we appreciate you, man. Have a great weekend. Roll Tide, man. As always.
Yes, sir. Roll Tide.
Roll
Tide.
Tide, roll. That's my man Ellis right there. Good stuff as usual. Quick timeout. I'll tell you more what I feel about this defense. Okay, I'm half in. I gotta love this. I want y'all to hit me up on Twitter, hit me up on the YouTube gram. It says Pops is coming in. I'm halfway with. I'm in with the offense. I think the offense is gonna be fine. I will say that. Defense. I think you might want to buckle your seatbelt unless things change. I'm going to leave it right there, and I'll tell you why. After this break, more phone calls. KJ and others on the line. Stay right there. We're going to get you next break. Promise you that. But back on the other side, we'll come back. I'll tell you what I think about the defense, and we'll have some fun with that. This is the Blue State.
Wisconsin game will tell us how good the D-line is. Probably will be a good test. They typically are pretty good up front in the trenches. So, but I'm, like I said, I'm more not concerned, but I'm more so speaking on pass rush, right? I think honestly, Tim Keenan, Tim Smith, Jaheim Otis is a guy that, if you remember, when he was a freshman, man, he was showing a lot of promise. A lot of people were excited about him. Still a really good player, but I think he was so beat up last year. I mean, I think he was dealing with knee injuries and all type of stuff. He just didn't look like his best self. So I think we'll be good there. You still got a guy like James Smith, a young guy. They got some playing time this past year. So I think defensively up front, I think we're good. I'm just saying something to look out for is without having like Dallas Turner, Chris Braswell. I mean, that was arguably the best edge tandem in the country. Now you're going to, again, there's nothing wrong with it, but just some kind of unproven guys, right? They're young, so not saying they can't step up and have that type of impact. It's just you're not necessarily betting on that right now. Then you throw in the equation that there's freshmen, some young guys in the secondary. Could be a recipe for some struggles early on as guys kind of go through those growing pains. That's all that is.
Christian Miller, Noah Hayes, or Johnson here with you. Talking about the defense now. I'm going to switch gears. I'm in on the offense. I think Kalen DeBoer is going to do the right thing. I don't think he's prideful like coaches can be at times. So I think he will do the right things by Jalen Milroe to implement a offensive system that's going to allow him to ball out. Now, on the other side, I don't know. I don't know enough about one. Don't tell me about Indiana. Don't tell me. I don't want to go there yet because there's not enough. So to me, you got two group of five guys, another head coach from Buffalo. Congratulations to my good friend Pete Limbo, by the way, from South Carolina, getting that head job. And I know his record don't really matter either because maybe he's just not a good head coach. But when you talk about he's been around, been in the SEC, coaching secondary, maybe he fits in. But to me, Freddie Roach is Freddie Roach, and Jamie Mosley, we know more about them because they've been here, right? Developing the defensive lineman Christian talked about. We don't have dudes up there that can just go get it right now. Who's going to fill in the outside guy? That to me is a big concern. That is a lot of production on the outside.
Oh, for sure.
Turner and Chris Braswell. I mean, I don't think you guys realize how good and complete of a football player both those dudes were. Those are big losses.
And experienced. They're veterans.
And experienced. They're veterans. I mean, so who's going to step in and replace those guys is huge. I mean, that is absolutely huge. We got two veterans back at the inside linebacker position. Cornerbacks, I mean, you don't want to be playing with freshmen. I mean, you don't. That's not good. So whether those dudes, they go with those guys or whether they, find some dudes in the portal in April, we just have to wait and see. But I'm concerned. I don't know how Womack's going to call games, how he's going to play. We know 4-2-5. We heard about the Swarm. But Swarm is not a defense. Swarm was just an attitude. You know, he was talking about running Swarm. They said Swarm like bees. Swarm to the football. I mean, everybody's running to get the ball, get the ball out. That's what that means. That's nothing in particular defensive that they do. What we see is more zone. You know, we had a guest on last week to talk about he likes to run more zone stuff. Believes in the front four, which I got a little bit concerned because right now we don't even know if we got front four that can get up the quarterback. So that is my concern with the defense. I'm not worried about Malachi Moore and find safety. A good thing I think that could happen is new for one, and the difficulty of the defense. Meaning, you heard me say many times, I thought Nick Saban's defense was too complicated. I thought the guys thought too much. I thought they made too many mistakes and errors. They gave up too many big plays, touchdowns. 4th and 2 against Michigan, could have won the game, played in the national championship, but they had a mistake. Caleb Downs made a huge mistake. They covered it flat. You know, those types of things that we've seen so many times out of this defense. It was, you know, that was a problem. So I think this new defense, you're not going to have those things. And I think it's going to be easier. I think the guys can learn better, play more freely, play more fast, play more furious. But who are those guys going to be? I mean, because right now, if we sit here and go, okay, I like Malachi Moore. I don't know enough about the Southern Cal transfer. I'm worried about the cornerback position. I like Tim Smith. I like the defensive tackles, Jaheim Otis. But those are not big dudes that just making big plays. I mean, they eat up holes. They do some things tackles supposed to do, but they're not pass rushers. They're not tearing up the backfield. They haven't replaced the two most productive players besides Terrion Arnold and Kool-Aid McKinstry on defense, right? And that's we talked about those the edge guys, Dallas Turner, Chris Braswell. So when you look at the defense, we talk about Kalen DeBoer and offense, and I keep saying offense does not win championships. Kalen DeBoer, as good as that offense was, when they met Michigan, a team that's built more like an SEC team, they got blown out in the championship game 34-13. So that's what I want to do. I don't want to talk about a little bit, excuse me, as Noah's telling me to get some calls here. So when you look at those things, man, it could be a problem. Let's take some phone calls. Noah telling me I need to run my 4-5 on calls. So let's get to KJ, who's been on hold. KJ, welcome into the program.
How y'all guys doing today, man?
Good, man. How about
Friday,
you,
brother? I'm
doing all right.
Ice right now.
Can't complain. I wanted to take it back though with the Milrow thing, right? If you're the driver for the Milrow bus, I'm definitely on the bus, man. Like, got to be passenger side or something. I'm definitely right there with you with the Milrow bus.
You're the person sitting in the passenger seat that used to make sure the kids were behaving.
You know what? I'm the ticket checker. I make sure that everything's valid. Make sure that you got a real valid. But here's the thing. It reminds me back when people think that it's all peaches and cream. It was all peaches and cream when Hurts announced that he was transferring to Oklahoma. It was not the case. There was plenty of doubt. People thought that he would not be able to fit into Lincoln Riley's offense. A lot of people were saying that how in the world would he be able to, for Baker Mayfield. I think they even put up like percentages of Baker Mayfield's completion percentages. Also with like Kyler Murray's, and they were saying there's nowhere in the world Jalen Hurts can to do this. What are they going to do? Hurts went there and proved everybody wrong. I think and this is just me. I haven't even talked to any of my buddies anything. I think the offense that we ran last year maybe was possibly even more difficult than Washington's offense that Penix ran in terms of NFL offense. I think that's why Bryce Young was the first draft pick last year in the draft, because they saw that he ran an NFL offense compared to what he made all the reads, he made all the checks. And I'm not saying Milrow made all the reads of the checks, because I know that Sells helped with that. But what I'm saying is he ran an offense that wasn't an easy offense to run for him, right? I got a stat that shows that just passes between behind the line of scrimmage and short passes between 0 to 9 yards. Penix had 153 more passes than Milrow in that yard range.
Dang.
So that can show you how much they made sure that they set the game up for him, right? They got him quick passes to get acclimated, one quick read, get the ball, throw the ball out your hand short, and then you go deep.
Yep.
And people always talk about, hey, that's all Milroe is a deep ball pass. Do you guys realize that Penix threw 50 more deep passes than Milroe did? So it's not like this is going to stop like the deep pass. This is something that this offensive coordinator does. They do. They get quick, easy, short passes to get you acclimated, to lake the defense right up because they want to go downfield. Even with the short passes, the 0 to 9 yard, Milroe had a higher completion percentages in that 0 to 9 yard range than Penix did. So I think if you can, like you said, like I'm with you, right? Because you kind of talked about it, Christian. If you can get his head placement right and get him to calm down, and also to get him to play more free, because you guys know, I think the reason a lot of the time why he held on the ball so much because he was trying to protect the football.
Right.
He was not throwing. It wasn't no timing routes just to get the ball out of your hands. A lot of sacks came because he wanted to triple make sure that you were wide open before I throw this football to you. Similar to what Jalen Hurts did, because I know if I mess up, I'm getting taken out of this ball game.
Yeah.
So they can have him to play more free, more relaxed, and I think this offense can be, man, I'm really looking forward to seeing what can happen. I think this offense will work for him, actually.
Yeah, well, and I like that comparison about when Jalen Hurts went to Oklahoma, because, I mean, that's a very similar situation in terms of a guy that was more known as a dual threat type guy. People question his ability to just, really sit back and be a passer, and that's exactly what Jalen Hurts ended up doing at Oklahoma. Then further down the line, he's arguably one of the top quarterbacks in the National Football League. So, no, I think that's a very valid point. And yeah, we agree in the sense that if you watch, that's why I was saying people just have to go back and watch. I think sometimes people just go with these narratives off of what they've seen or heard. But if you watch Washington again, like they throw so many screens and set things up that I think that's really going to benefit Jalen Milroe in this new system. And a lot
of people are not watching. A lot of people just going off of highlights.
They go off of highlights and what other people are tweeting.
Yeah, you're not watching full games. Y'all don't. People saying Milroe can't. How many Penix games did you actually watch? Full Penix games did you watch?
Right.
Now his ball placement was incredible, impeccable.
Yeah.
But that was deep. His deep passes. Milroe can throw the deep ball just like he can.
Yeah, no, he definitely can, and but I will give Penix credit, like you just did. I mean, he had some unbelievable accuracy, and he displayed that confidence in making those throws, and I think that's a valid point. I mean, if you think about it, Milroe with those interceptions at Texas, even going into the season, all people did was question, his ability to protect the football, right? And I can tell you right now, the coaches were in the same position, like, hey, take what the defense gives you, protect the football at all costs. And you're right, when you do play in a sense of being, reserved and so protective, it does keep you from playing, truly free and really just letting it go. And that's at any position. So if you can get him confident and get him up to speed in terms of really just trusting things, trusting his eyes, and getting a game plan ready for him that allows him to kind of get into his rhythm, I think he will take another step this season. So I agree with you, brother.
Y'all got to remember, y'all got to remember, man. He can develop, like Christian said. Y'all act like he's just gonna stay how he is. He can develop, and I love the fact that he always says, "I'm not a finished product." So he knows he can get better, man.
Oh no, he's humble. He knows,
man. That's why when I talked about the football, it's more than just what we're saying stat wise. Playing that position, I mean, it's footwork and different things. Your eyes, how to play with your eyes better, and things like that. That definitely work with him on. So I'm not worried about him. I think the biggest thing is putting things in place that supports his skill set. That's all that's going to do is enhance what he does. That's all I'm saying. And I think.
And before I go, Corey, don't be worried about our defense, man. You're not worried about Lane Kiffin defense. Don't be worried about our defense.
Listen, man. The Lane train got 2 Washington starters off the Joe Moore Award winner. Y'all
they weren't starters. They wasn't starters. They were not starters. They played a couple. They had stars, but they wasn't starters, and they was guards. We're not worried about Lane. The Lane train is just good. You see that man wilding on
watch out for Lane train. Lane train in Georgia is going to be my picks for the SEC championship.
We're just keeping our girlfriends and our wives away from him. Y'all have a good day.
We got to go back in the moment. Jonathan Ramos up next. We'll be back.
Let's see. Washington didn't have depth, Jeremy says. Hopefully, defensive line stays in the backfield, putting pressure on the quarterback. Yeah, I mean that would be huge, especially helping out a young secondary. But I think we didn't get to talking about it yet. But one thing you can do if you're lacking pass rush from the guys up front, like we talked about, you got to bring pressure. I'll give you an example. When we played Florida State in 2017, when I tore my biceps, Terrell tore his UCL and his elbow. Anthony Jennings got hurt that game. I think we lost like 3 outside linebackers, right? We had to find a way to generate some more pressure. So what we did was, if you go back and watch, we utilized guys like Minka and some of our DBs to really kind of generate some pressure. And that's kind of what you can use a 4-2-5 for. That's why they got guys like in that like kind of hybrid role. I think I saw somebody mention Justin Jefferson. I think he could benefit from this system. But my thing with him is he's got a hold on.
Buddy, welcome in.
Hey guys, how are y'all today?
Doing great. Hope you're doing well.
Yeah, I'm gonna say 10-2. I got in trouble about a week ago on Ron's show. He fussed at me because I don't make prediction, but I went 10-2. I'm gonna stay by it. They'll probably lose one game on the road, and the Georgia game is really gonna tell what kind of season we're gonna have. Because you know there's a lot of pressure on Georgia to come over here and do something. Kirby only beat Alabama one time. If he don't beat Alabama this time, they're going to be a bunch of sour folks in Athens, Georgia. About this. I mean, really.
Yeah, but should they though? I mean, he's definitely produced for them. I get it though. He's kind of set himself up for that standard. But I mean, back-to-back national championships, and he's got a great program going over there. It definitely to me feels like a copy of our older Alabama programs. But now you're right; they would not be happy if he still is struggling to beat Alabama, especially now that Coach Saban retired. I think I saw some. Maybe it was some of their players reacting to it, and it was almost like they're like, "Oh, thank God!" Right? So you could tell we were living in Georgia football players' heads rent free, right?
Well, yeah, and it just really, and he got this guilt he's gonna have to live with the rest of his life. He only beat Nick Saban one time. Everybody say he's gonna be greater than Saban. He can't never beat Saban, but one time. It was in the national championship game. It's like the stigma Coach Bryant had. He never
Yeah, I mean, listen, Nick retired, and I thought he wanted to go out on a high horse. I thought, and I predicted they would win the national championship last year. I thought that would, push him out the door. Miss Terry would be like, that's it. We got 8 now. Let's ride. But then that didn't happen. But then when you go back and look at it, you go, well, he kind of took that throne back from Kirby. And he left as the owner of the SEC. So he left by beating them in the SEC championship game. He left as the king of the SEC and beating his understudy, Kirby Smart. So I think when you look at that, even though I felt like this team still was good enough to win a national championship last year, I'm not Michigan won it, congratulations, but still, I think Alabama would beat them 8 out of 10 times. I really do. But they didn't beat them in the Rose Bowl. That's what mattered. But I think by beating Kirby Smart and taking back the SEC, that was good enough for Nick to say, sayonara, and let's move on.
Well, yeah, I mean, Nick Saban left on a good note. He didn't beat Michigan. That's fine. I mean, I wish we could have done what we wanted. But he prevented Georgia from 3-peating. And that will burn them forever. It will be in the back of their mind, no matter who the coach is.
I think Georgia would have beat Michigan.
Oh, yeah. There's no doubt. Georgia won the better team, one of the best teams in the nation. I'm not taking nothing away from them, but you know, it's not. We don't play World Series. You play one game and you got to win on that day. You play the game. We won it in Atlanta. We didn't win in the Rose Bowl. But it's a special year, and I hate to put a statement on the team or expectation because right now my goal was when he came here 2 weeks ago. Let's survive the 30-day transfer portal. Let's see what he does because there's going to be a lot of noise, squawking. It's over. It's over. It's over. They said the same thing with Ron. And we did go 7-5. It's going to be kind of like Gene Stallings first year. He started out 0-3, and we stuck up the Fiesta Bowl. But next year we went 11-1, and 92 we went 13-0 and won the first SEC, championship game. And we set a standard. And Nick Saban did the same thing. Went 7-6. 2 years. Next year we went 12-2. Next year we went 14-0 and won the national championship. You got to lay the foundation. Nick Saban Foundation legacy is set in stone out there. Now, it's our new coach's chance to make his name or his foundation, and it starts now. And
Well, if you're killing the board, I mean, if you're able to, that fourth game of the year, I believe it is, when Georgia comes to Bryant-Denny Stadium, if you're able to win that ball game, boy.
Oh, that'd be big.
I mean, that game right there, to me, I mean, going to Wisconsin, I think the week before, it's going to be tough. I mean, what do they do that? What do they call it? Dance they do?
I don't know.
Jump around.
The jump around. But, yeah, I mean, they're going to be doing their thing. Right? And,
you got to remember this.
Cincinnati there.
I'm a big Alabama fan. Alabama did pretty well on the road. So they got 4 tough games. The worst I can see them doing is going 2-2 on the road. And maybe losing to Georgia.
Which I think is fair. That's where I say 9-3, 10-2.
9-3. I mean, I think they beat LSU at home because I don't know who. Well, quarterback is going to be different. Thank God Jaden Daniels is gone, but Tennessee quarterback is special. And they got some talent, so we know how.
I mean,
hard that
LSU's
game
quarterback is Nussmeier. He's a good ball player.
Yeah,
he played in the
not
bowl
no
game. He played a good game. He's a solid quarterback.
He's
He's not Jaden Daniels, but he's a solid quarterback.
Yeah.
Did y'all see the receiver though? We didn't talk about this. Got arrested for betting on games.
He's pros now.
Oh, is he?
Pros.
Well, it said LSU receiver. I mean, I didn't know.
Former. They should have said former.
Well, did he just leave? I mean,
I think he's former.
oh yeah. Former. You're right. I'm sorry. My bad.
But Tom, I got them at 9-3. You got them at 10-2. I got them losing to Georgia. I got them losing one of the games between LSU and Tennessee, and I got them dropping another one that could be Wisconsin or Oklahoma. That's how I come up with 9-3.
Yeah, just see how the team is going to be a tough draw toward the season. We always had I hate to use this terminology, a warm-up game before Auburn, but we got to go to Norman the week before we play Auburn. So
that's going to be tough.
It is.
Mm-hmm.
And Brent Venables, I mean, I know they lost their quarterback to the portal. I can't think off the top of my head who they got in, but he's building a program there in Oklahoma. Brent Venables, who had Alabama numbers as defensive coordinator for years. Christian was there. The defense was terrible for his first year, but they played much better last year. So we'll see. I mean, we'll see. I mean, this team could be just freaking stinking good. That's what everybody hopes. That's what we hope. But it just percentages suggest that falling to the GOAT and just, it might be tough. And with the schedule, I think it's going to be tough. That's why I'm giving them a 9-3 record, still with a chance to sneak into the playoffs and maybe do some damage. That's nothing wrong with that.
Nothing at all. No, you're right there.
Well, Tommy, we appreciate you, man.
All right, man.
Bless you, my friend. Have a great weekend.
You too.
There goes Tommy from Romulus. You know what I'm looking forward to?
What's that? Well, while you do that, I just want to get these in because we got to get out of here soon. Ryan Fowler's up next right here on Tide 100.9. I just want to give a big shout out to Mr. Yelder and John Jones for their super chat contributions over on our YouTube channel. Always appreciate you guys and your support, helping make this thing run and make things possible. So thank you guys so much. Thank you everybody that's been tuned in on YouTube and Tide 100.9 with us FM or on the app. We appreciate all of our listeners here on the Miller's Edge. So we're going to get out of here. Hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. Stay tuned. You got Ryan Fowler in the game coming up next. You've been listening to the Miller's Edge right here on Tide 100.9, 12:30 a.m. WTBC, presented by the Good Feet Store, America's art support experts. We'll see you guys Monday.